Alright, hello, and today I'm going to talk about how arrays work in C++. Before I explain though, let's just go ahead and get some code up and running so that we can see what happens as we run the code and make changes to things. So since I'm using Visual Studio, let's do the basic boilerplate code. So hashtag include pch.h, include iostream. We're going to be using, because we're doing arrays, we're going to include the header array. And we're also going to be using namespace standard. Cool. Now let's set up our main function. Int main. Some comments. Return 1. Cool. Alright, so this is our boilerplate. So let's start off by defining an array. So we have, you do this by writing array less than what type of value you want to store in the array. We're going to be storing integers in our array. Then how big you want the array to be. Ours is going to be 10 variables. And then after that, you write the name of the array, which we're going to just call it numbers 1. There. And that is it. Technically, we don't even need this. We can just write numbers 1. And we have an array. Let's see what this array looks like if we just sort of, cout, if we just kind of dump it into the console. So cout numbers 1. See what happens. Uh-oh. Yeah, that doesn't work. So we can't just dump it out like that. I think we have to just say which element we're actually using. Yeah, okay. So what this is going to do is this is going to print the 0 element of the array. Look at that. Waiting. And there we go. You can see it right up here, 0. So now let's actually put some numbers into our array. It is 10 variables long, but let's fill it with 5 numbers. Let's fill it with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't let anyone tell you programmers aren't creative. Now let's print numbers. Let's print the number 4, and then let's copy and paste this real quick. Control C. Uh-oh. There we go. Control V. Let's print 3 numbers. We're going to print element number 4, element number 5, and element number 0. So let's see what happens when we do this. There we go. So we've got element number 1 right there, which is, or element number 4, which is 5. 5 is equivalent to the 4th element. 0 is equivalent to the 5th element, because notice we only defined 5 elements. And this is actually referring to the 5th element of the array, which, if there's no number inputted for about, if you have an array that's bigger than the number of values you supply, then the rest are all equal to 0. So what we wrote here is actually the same as writing this. And by doing that, our output should be the same as well. Just so I can prove it to you guys. Uh-oh, and weird things. Something strange has occurred. Let's see if we can fix that. What have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything should still work. Oh, there we go. Something strange happened. See, the output is exactly the same. Alright. Now, that's an array. That's how you print values, and that's how you put numbers into an array. But what even is an array? Alright. Well, let me give you guys a quick explanation of what an array is. I'm going to switch over to a new window. And now we're in a Paint program. Woo! So you can think of an array as just a list of elements. So you have element 1, or you have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can put anything here. You can put a word. Let's make a list of letters. A, B, C, D, and D. So we have a list of 5 things. Now an array is just storing all of these items. So an array equals array. Excuse my artistic skills. You guys can probably read that. Alright, and so you can summon specific elements within an array by writing the array name. So array brackets, and then the number of element, or the number in the list it is, except with a catch. When you're using arrays in C++, 1 equals 0, 2 equals 1, 3 equals 2, you count from 0. So, reality, this is the 0 item. You scribble out all these wrong numbers. This is the first item, this is the second item, this is the third item, and then this is the fourth item. So, from 0 to 4. So, let's say we want to get C. So we'll do 2, because 2 is the second element in the array. Do that. And then when we run this, we will end up with the value C. Alright, so that's how an array works and what an array actually is. Let's see how we can do some more interesting stuff with it, now that you guys know what an array actually is. So I'm going to switch back to my other view. Here we go, back to programming, back to looking at some code. So let's get rid of this. And let's actually get rid of this as well. So now the array is going to be nothing but zeros. Let's try to make a really, really big array. So let's make an array that's 100 values big. Alright? So how are we going to fill that out? We could write it all out by hand, but there is a better way. We can use for loops. So we can create a for loop like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cycle through all empty elements and assign a value. Alright, so we're going to go to the standard for loop. We're going to do for integer I, which is going to be our counter, just standard. Integer I equals 0, while I is less than or equal to numbers 1 dot size. And by the way, this is how we can get how big an array is. So numbers 1 dot size is going to return the number 100, because that is the size of the array. You can do this for any array. You can get the size of it. Alright, and so then the next part is going to be I++, and just incrementing through the array. Alright, so let's go ahead and put in that assigning a value. We're just going to set numbers 1 equals, numbers 1 equals, okay, just making sure I know how to spell. Comments. Numbers 1 is equal to, numbers 1 I. So the I element of numbers 1, let's set it to 1. So that way we'll have an array of 100 ones. I don't know how useful that is, but that's what we're going to do. And so this is assigning the values to the array. Assigning values to array. Now let's print the array. And we can use a for loop to print the array as well. So we don't have to write numbers, so we don't have to do something like numbers 1, 0, cout, that way we don't have to write this 100 times with a different number right here every single time. We can just do it all in one go, or write all the code at once, instead of writing it 100 times, which would not be fun. So let's create another for loop. For let's just use the, actually no, we're going to use a different number just because. J equals 0, while j is less than, oh, error here. This needs to be less than, not less than or equal to. While j is less than numbers 1 dot size, j plus plus. Yes, okay. And for j, and for I. Printing array. Print array. Sorry, just going back and commenting a few things real quick. So now we're going to print the array by doing cout insertion operator numbers 1 j within the brackets. Insertion operator, actually no, we're just calling print it once. And then, yeah, alright, so this is our code. Now what this should do, if it is set up correctly, is it will create an array called numbers1, initialize it to nothing but zeros. And to double check that, let's actually copy and paste this. Let's print the array before we change all the numbers. Let's change all the numbers. And then let's print the array again. So it'll initialize to 0, print the array, change all the numbers in the array to 1, and then print the new array. So let's see if it worked. Aha! So there we have it, 100 zeros followed by 100 ones. Now that was really boring. Let's do something more interesting with for loops. Let's have, instead of it just printing the number 1, let's print I. So now we should get an incrementing number in the array. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that is a mess. I can't read that. Let's also put a space in here. There we go. So now there should be a space between each number, and we can actually read them. That didn't work. I'm disappointed. No, that was silly. I forgot to actually put the space. Okay. Hey, there we go. So we have numbers ranging from 0 to 99, a 100 element array. So we can do this, we can use any kind of value in the array. We could use longs, we could use floats, we could also use a custom data type. So if we like created a class called like button, we could put buttons in here. Yeah, so that is how you use arrays in a basic sense. If you want more information on how to use arrays, there's some nice information online. Just look for, honestly, you should be able to find plenty of info. But I hope this has helped getting you guys a basic sort of introduction to arrays. I'll include links to where I got this information and where you can get the information as well in the description of this video. So, hope this helped.